A horse is to blame for everything that goes wrong at Man United. And not an ordinary horse, but the best one in the world. This is a story of a ridiculous spat over an animal that set United up for trouble for years to come. Sir Alex Ferguson faced many difficult opponents in his career as United's head coach, but the toughest proved to be his friends, Irish businessmen John Magnier and J.P. McManus, also known as the Coolmore Mafia. These two aren't ordinary men. At the time, they were the richest men in Ireland as well as Man United shareholders, and they were also the owners of the world-famous stallion called Rock of Gibraltar. As Ferguson was winning trophy after trophy with Man United, the Coolmore Mafia were at the top of their game in the horse breeding industry. In the first place, Ferguson had befriended Magnier and McManus through his love of horse racing and eventually persuaded them to buy a minority stake in the club. It was around that time that Ferguson's association with Rock of Gibraltar started. Naturally, it wasn't Ferguson who rode the horse himself. Rock of Gibraltar was registered in Ferguson's name, but crucially, he was not the owner. When the horse won a race, he made the speech and that was it. But Sir Alex believed he was entitled to half of Rock of Gibraltar's breeding rights, which potentially was tens of millions of pounds. The only reason he believed he partly owned the horse was a gentleman's agreement with Coolmore when the horse was put in his name, but Ferguson never put money into the horse that was somebody else's property. The feud kicked in. By then, Magnier and McManus had actually increased their stake up to almost 30% and meant to take over the club. Effectively, Man United's head coach waged a war on Man United's biggest shareholders. Everybody told Ferguson to back off because John Magnier was simply impossible to deal with. One of Magnier's friends is on record saying this: "The softest thing about John is his teeth." Roy Keane wrote in his autobiography, "I told Ferguson I didn't think it was good for the club. He was just a mascot for them. Walking around with this Rock of Gibraltar, look at me, how big I am, and he didn't even own the bloody thing." Coolmore began to attack Ferguson using the media. A damning letter of 99 questions was sent to the club board, and some of the questions concerned sensitive topics like transfer dealings and agent involvement. Some of the angry United fans retaliated. At a very prestigious racecourse in Hereford, around 30 protesters ran onto the track and started mayhem. Eventually, a settlement was made out of court. Ferguson received £2.5 million if he agreed to drop all claims of the Rock of Gibraltar. But by then, the Irish businessmen lost all interest in football. The incident in Hereford deeply unsettled them, and they decided to sell their Man United stake to nobody else but Malcolm Glazer. The American had already bought some of Man United shares, but getting Magnier and McManus' stake made him the majority shareholder. And a month later, the Glazer takeover was complete. And so started the new era for Man United. Ferguson managed to keep the club competitive for 8 more years until he retired in 2013. However, the writing was on the wall from the start. A massive red flag was the proposed takeover scheme. Malcolm Glazer used a leveraged buyout to secure ownership. He borrowed the money using the club assets as collateral, placing a $787 million debt on United. The move was so controversial, some fans created a breakaway club called FC United of Manchester. But while United fans protested against the Glazers, Ferguson sided with the prospective American owner. His support was crucial to the banks lending Glazer the money. Ferguson, who rebelled against Coolmore over a horse, didn't have issues with the Glazers over lack of transfer funds. When Man City swept up young Sergio Aguero and David Silva, United replaced Cristiano Ronaldo with Antonio Valencia and the finished Michael Owen. And as of 2023, the club is still saddled with a huge debt that has passed £1 billion. Who knows what would have happened if Sir Alex Ferguson hadn't thrown a fuss over a horse that didn't even belong to him. One thing is for sure, Malcolm Glazer would have found it more difficult to buy the club. It's quite likely he wouldn't have been interested at all. Malcolm Glazer passed away in 2014, but his children took the reins and to this day continue to be in charge of the club. As for Rock of Gibraltar, it passed away aged 23 in 2022, long after its victorious career in racing. If you have enjoyed this story, like this video so more people can watch it. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon, and see you in other videos.